Push Q mode is a MaxforLive device that gives you hot Q performance right inside Ableton Live using your Push 3. Deadmau5 requested it, Isotonik Studios built it, and now it's yours. So in this video, I'll show you how it all works and how you can use it. So first up, we go into our clip here by double clicking, open it up, and we simply drop a marker in where we would like to have a hot cue. For example, I have the first one here, like a second one here, third, fourth. Job done. Now let's load in Push Q mode. So you drag Push Q mode onto your track like this. We have this button here which activates and deactivates the device. And then we have the I button here for Isotonik Studios that just refreshes it all. We have a button here that says Momentary or Latch, and that deals with how the shift button is going to react on the push once we've pressed it. So if we jump over to the push here, when it's in Momentary, if I hold down shift, the hot cue will show up here. If I take my finger off, it disappears. We switch it into Latch. When I press it, it engages it and I can take my hands off. And when I press it back, it goes away. I personally like it in Latch. I'm going to keep it there. Next up, I'm going to drop to the bottom here, which is cue selection. So in the cue selection, we have two options. We can either select the first 8 available cues, or if you have a track with loads of cues and you don't exactly want the first 8, you might want one from near the end, we can go into the favorites. And how you select your favorites is you name it on the clip. So if I go Command R to rename and I call this break, it needs to have a name. Then you press Q and then you list your cues. So if I go 2 space 4 space 1 5, press return. Notice nothing happens yet. You have to trigger, say, a clip below and then come back to it. You see now it has populated those favorites. So now when I go and turn on my pads, so now when I go and use my hot cues, it is playing a different set of warp markers depending on which ones you have set in here, which is really handy. I personally like using it like this by going first 8, and that gives us the first 8 available cue points. Now, if I go back into Latch mode, you'll see on the push now, they have shown up. Fantastic. We then have our quantize options, which I'll come to in a minute. Before we start getting into all the quantization, let's have a little play with it. Fantastic. Now you probably heard my timing isn't that great. That is completely unquantized. So now what we need to do is we need to go in and set some quantization. When you use Push Q mode, you're actually scrubbing the playhead inside the clip. That scrub action always follows the global quantization you have set up here. For example, if I put it to 1 bar, it will follow that. So what Push Q mode does is it temporarily takes over the global quantization while it's active. So when we go to Q quantization and choose a value, say, for example, 16ths, if you look up at global quantization, it has now changed. So now when I play it, it'll be quantized to a 16th note grid. There we have it. When I turn this off, by deactivating the device here, watch what happens. It goes back to none. So what we can do is we can set a global rate and have this either fixed or dynamic. What that basically means is when the device is on, it's going to use the Q quantize. When it's off, it's going to go back to the global rate. So if I put the global rate to 1 bar, if I have it on, it's 116 up here. If I turn it off, it goes back to 1 bar. And it will take control of whatever global rate you set here. So if you put it to like 1/4, we've got 1/16 while this is on and 1/4 while this is off. Now, if that's a bit confusing and something you're not really thinking about using, what you can do is you can put it into fixed mode by pressing the button that says fixed here. Even though it says dynamic, it is in fixed mode. And that essentially means when this device is on, it will be 1/16. When you turn it off, it will go back to whatever global setting you had set in Ableton Live. So I'm going to 1 bar there. And for most cases, that's how people will be using it. So when it's activated by clicking this, it's now changed the device and we've got say you want more than just 8 cue points, say you would like 64, you can do with the other device that comes in this pack, which is Push Cue Mode, and it's X64. So I have that loaded up on the drum break here, and I have gone in and done the same thing. I've gone through and selected some warp markers. Maybe I can add in a few more here like this. You can go as crazy as you want. Go to my device. 36 warp markers there. We have similar buttons here. We can go in and go Momentary, Latch. We have the shift modifier. We can change the color. We can change the color of the pads as they come through, and we can choose the color of the running light. We also have the same quantize settings here, so we can have the fixed or dynamic mode here. I'm going to keep it in the fixed mode and set it to 16ths. Okay, so now if I press shift, it engages it, I have my break. Every time I've practiced that, it's gone horribly wrong, and I was worried about filming it, but actually it went all right. Sounded like I knew what I was doing. This is so much fun. It is just, I love it in this setting. 16th note, get a break beat, and just go nuts on it. Oh, that's too much fun, that one. This one's pretty straightforward. It's just exactly the same as the other one. A few more color options and a few more pads. Now let's look at the control of the device on the Push 3 screen. Now you obviously have device on and off, which you can turn off and on here, and you have the quantize here. If you press this down, you get some of your color edit options that are available on the device here. Now if we go back over to the Push Cue mode, on the device itself, you don't have access to the colors here, but if you press it down, you have access to the color edit here. So you can go and maybe if we make it, let's go blue, running light, pink, so off and on, there we go. Reset it. And the Push Cue mode is fantastic for slicing up breaks in real time and bringing that much needed hot cue workflow to the Push and Ableton Live. Something deadmau5 needed. Darren from Isotonik Studios built it. Now it's yours. Link is in the description below. Now you've seen how Push Cue mode can enable you to perform like a DJ right on the Push 3. What if I told you you could also use your Push 3 like an Electron drum machine and use its infamous mute mode? Well, check out this video here where I show you exactly how to do that. Bye for now. See you in the next one.